What's going on, everyone? So, reports came out per Mike Escato that the Philadelphia 76ers have engaged with the San Antonio Spurs about potentially trading up into the number 2 pick. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers, they actually have the number 3 pick. So, clearly, there is somebody, Dylan Harper probably, that they believe the San Antonio Spurs are going to take, and they're willing to take the number 3 pick, trade up with the 3 and whatever other assets or players or whatever to go get the number 2 pick. And my guess is probably take Dylan Harper, right? Because, the Spurs, based on basically everyone's consensus reports, they're going to take Dylan Harper. So if the Sixers wanted, like an Ace Bailey or something, they could just go draft him at number 3. Right? There's no reason for them to move up to number 2 unless they do, in fact, want Dylan Harper. Right? Because we know that number 1 pick is going to be Cooper Flagg. Right? Dallas is going to take Cooper Flagg because they'd be foolish not to. Right? Even if Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper or somebody becomes the best player in this draft, you look at a guy like Cooper Flagg, he's the no-brainer consensus number 1 pick. Dallas isn't going to take a chance or take a risk or anything like that to not take him, especially if they just traded Luka. That'd probably not be good for them and their fan base, right? So they're going to take Cooper Flagg. So then it's like Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ, right? Like Malik. You have Knepel, who's moving up the draft boards, or even reports that he might go into the top 5, right? But if the 76ers wanted any other guy than Dylan Harper, they could just either take him at 3 or even trade back, right? Like if they wanted, Knepel, right, they could just trade back to the 5th or 6th pick, right? So to me, this is clear that they want Dylan Harper, that they're going to go get Dylan Harper. Okay, couple things, right? One, how badly do the Spurs want Dylan Harper? Is it one of those things where they look at it and they're like, well, he's just best player available, so we're going to take him because we have the number 2 pick and he's the best player available, right? And unless we get some blowaway offer, we're going to go with Dylan Harper, right? Something else I've talked about is the potential of if they do trade for Kevin Durant, right? Spurs are one of the teams that are in the mix for Kevin Durant. Reports have even came out that Kevin Durant prefers to go to the Spurs. So here's the thing, though. If you do go get Kevin Durant, you're probably going to have Kevin Durant 3 years, maybe minimum, right? You're going to have him next year, minimum. And then he's probably signing at least a 2-year deal because you're not going to go trade whatever you have to trade for Kevin Durant just for him to not play another 2 years, right? So bare minimum, you're probably going to have him 3 years, which means Dylan Harper at best would be the 4th option for the first 3 years. More likely than not, potentially be the 5th option, right? Because you'd have, assuming that they don't have to trade Castle or anything like that, which they shouldn't, right? You'd have a Victor Wembanyama, right? Kevin Durant, De'Aaron Fox, and then best case scenario, Dylan Harper. Worst case scenario, Stephon Castle, then Dylan Harper. So do you want that? Or are you better off taking a guy like an Ace Bailey who can slot into either forward spot, and then you have now your kind of 5-man unit locked up? Right, where Dylan Harper's probably coming off the bench the first year or 2, right? But if you go and get an Ace Bailey or something, you can slot him in right into your 3 spot, right? And play Kevin Durant at the 4 or vice versa, right? Slot him at the thing. Or again, if you do trade for the number 3 pick, can you get some pieces from a team like the Sixers on top of the number 3 pick and then go get an Ace Bailey or something like that? The fact that, again, assuming that these reports are true, everything's a rumor, everything's speculation until it actually happens, right? Want to be clear about that. But assuming these reports are true, that means at least the Spurs are interested in potentially trading the number 2 pick, right? Because if you are if anyone called for Victor Wembanyama, that's an immediate nope and hang up, right? So the fact that they're even entertaining and engaging in those conversations means that there's at least okay, let's hear what you got, right? Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to trade him. That doesn't mean that a trade is going to happen, right? That doesn't mean that they're going to, they could, they could get 2 minutes in the conversation and be like, yeah, no, right? Hang up. But, right, what can you get? It's not like Philly has the, 12th pick in the draft where it's like, all right, well, we're moving back pretty heavily, right? Well, it's like, no, they're literally the next pick. So can we get that pick plus can you get something else, right? If they're going to take Dylan Harper, can you get like a Jared McCain who, by the way, was very likely going to win Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt, right? Assuming if he was on the pace and trajectory that he was on, right, he's probably winning Rookie of the Year. I think that that's a fair assessment given how he was performing, given the circumstances with the Philadelphia 76ers the entirety of the season, right? Again, Stephon Castle, I think, still would have been in that conversation, but McCain was the guy was like averaging like 20 points a game for like large stretches, right? And then you'd see like Paul George and them come back and then he would kind of regress and then they would go out again and boom, he's right back to giving you 20 and whatnot. So I just think given the circumstances, opportunity on him, I think it's fair to think he would have won Rookie of the Year. So do you go get a guy, do you get like the number 3 pick and get a Jared McCain who would give you a lot of the similar things that you'd be looking for Dylan Harper, right? He's not Dylan Harper, but he is a guy that is proven to be able to go get you buckets, right? Could be that kind of 6th man off the bench, for the next few seasons, right? And then eventually, maybe move Castle to the 3 or whatever as he develops a shot. Outside of that, there's not really anybody, Tyrese Maxey for sure, right? But are they really going to trade Tyrese Maxey and the number 3 pick just to move up one spot? Probably not, right? Like, Tyrese Maxey has the potential to be, a star for them and all that. So and he's still young enough, right? If you do, I'm not going to lie, if you get Tyrese Maxey and the number 3 pick, I would probably do that. Even if Dylan Harper does become a superstar, you take the chance. Tyrese Maxey's already proven in this league as an all-star level player that gives you a lot of the same things you'd be looking for from a Dylan Harper, right? And on top of that, you could go get an Ace Bailey or something like that as well. To me, that would be a no-brainer. I just don't think the Sixers would do that. So it's like, okay, well, who else makes sense beyond that? They don't really have anybody, right? Like, again, yeah, like Andre Drummond would be nice as like a backup, right? But you're not trading the number 2 pick to go get an Andre Drummond, right? Kelly Oubre, Yabusele, like guys like that, like Spurs could just sign, right? Like, so again, who are you going to get? Quentin Grimes, maybe you work out a sign and trade, but now you're hard capped. To me, I look at it and I'm like, if you can get Jared McCain, the number 3 pick, and then maybe like a future pick, right? Like an unprotected future pick, I would kind of kick the can down the road of like, honestly, you could probably argue it'd probably be best to get like a pick sooner rather than later, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know what Philly's pick situation is. I know that it's kind of been all over, like they lost picks and they got some back, and then, so I know it's been kind of a mess, but my point is that like, is Jared McCain plus the number 3 pick worth losing Dylan Harper? Right? I don't know. I think it depends on what happens, right? Like if they go get Kevin Durant, I think that there's more of an argument, right? If they stay the course and they don't get a Kevin Durant, then I think that there's less of an argument because I think at that point you can get Dylan Harper, slot him in at the 2, and then move Castle to the 3 if you wanted to, right? Because he's 6'6", 6'7", right? So slot him at the 3, have Harper and Fox as your backcourt, right? But if you get Kevin Durant, I do think that there's an argument of like, okay, you have your backcourt locked up in Castle and Fox. KD could play either forward spot for you. Your biggest need would be another forward. Now, usually in the draft, you take the best player available, but if you're getting a guy in like a Jared McCain who could be kind of that offensive piece for you that could just go get buckets now and have an impact now, and it has that confidence swagger now, and then you could go get the best player available at number 3, but also is a better fit and is going to get more production and is going to get more playing time, is going to get more, just development naturally through the course of the games. I I don't hate it, right? It's just, again, it's like, the problem is, like, if I had a crystal ball, right, like, then I'd be like, tell you, like, okay, yes, go do that, right? But I don't have a crystal ball. So it's kind of like, yeah, Dylan Harper appears to be a guy that could be a lock. We've seen a lot of guys like that, right? I mean, we've seen guys that come to mind, like, look at, like, Tyreek Evans. I mean, his rookie season averaged, 25-5. It looked like he was going to be the next superstar. Michael Carter-Williams, right, averaged nearly a triple-double his rookie year. Might look like he was going to be the next great point guard in this league. Big, sizable, versatile, right? He was out of the league by the time his next contract came around, right? Like, you don't know. Right? The idea is that Dylan Harper is going to be that, but you don't know. Jared McCain's already a guy that's proven he can get you 18 a night, right? And then on top of that, you go get the number 3 pick. I don't know. It's definitely something to at least entertain. And, Quentin Grimes has been so good for them that they probably would want to retain Quentin Grimes. So they might be willing to trade a Jared McCain. So again, if you could get, say, again, Ace Bailey and Jared McCain for Dylan Harper, essentially, would you do it? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. As we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.